Arr, me looking for treasure on Mars. I will be rich, I say, rich! Hey guys, Julian here with another anime review. I know I took a little bit of a break doing model kits, but I'm back to do some anime reviews. So let's get into this one. But I have to ask some questions first, as in, why are you looking for treasure on a planet we haven't even been to yet? I am on Mars looking for the lost treasure of the natives. I need a submarine and a lot of mechs and possibly a crew as well. Okay, I think I have the anime that fits the scenario perfectly. So, let's take a look at the Mars Daybreak anime so we can have a better understanding as what he's talking about. So, let's have a look at this anime today. So I always like to start out by how I found this anime, and honestly, it was on a list of mecha romance animes. I know, pretty standard of how I found animes around that time. I was really looking into what made a really good anime. I mean, I really liked romance, I really liked mechs. Put the two together, I had a great list, and this was on that list. But you know what also drew me to this anime? Was that Studio Bones had done this, and they have done some other amazing work, such as My Hero Academia, Araka 7, and Full Metal Alchemist, to name a few. This was an original work done, so there is no light novel or manga to go off of. Completely original content. What that also means, which is what I think you're trying to say, is that this is a complete anime. So no cliffhanger endings here, which is nice since it's a full 26 episodes that are being put to use telling this story with very little filler in the storyline. And of course there is comedy, which is well timed and fits the style of this anime for when it aired. I mean, this is a older anime, you know, in the mid 2000s, so there's only so much you can expect from it. I mean, the art style definitely has not kept up for modern mech animes. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the cool 3D complete like they do now, but you know, it's still pretty good because I quite enjoy that style, and for those that like and are fans of older Gundam anime, I think it fits that aesthetic quite well. So if you were a fan of those Gundam ones, you'll probably be a fan of this style as well. The fact that this anime takes place on Mars and not in space was kind of a welcoming change-up. And in fact, that Mars was actually made up of a huge body of water, which is quite contrary to what we know today, that Mars is kind of this red planet. To see Mars completely filled to the brim with water everywhere was a nice change of pace, allowing for transportation to be done via submarine. And the pirate feel to this anime has blended futuristic and both past elements. So what do I mean by this? Is that these pirates are high tech, but of course they still have those old historic pirate values that we know and love about pirates. You know, those good old Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, I can't make that exact reference, but you get what I'm talking about. So to quickly touch upon the story, Graham gets into a little bit of trouble and bumps into pirates. He then ends up joining the pirates on their hunt for treasure and finding the treasure of the natives. What will he find out? What is his part to play in this huge grand story? Will he leave them to rot? Will he be their savior? What will lie in store for them? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great adventure, great pirate anime, great space mech anime. I love this story. But now, let's talk about something unfortunate about this. Unfortunately, Bandai is the only one that has licensed this anime, which means it is not available currently on any streaming platform today. Now, I hope Bandai will bring their library of anime, aside from Gundam, somewhere, but I don't think they'll be bringing it to Crunchyroll because of the acquisition and what happened. But I could be wrong. Many things can change between now and then and whenever you're watching this video. I mean, at the time of filming, this is not the case. You can't find it on any streaming service. So I don't think a lot of you will be given the chance to watch this anime. But if you do somehow find it on the internet, or you do have a copy of it and a friend wants to borrow it and it is available to you, please give this anime a watch. The story, I think, was pretty good. And like I said, it's complete. It's got a full storyline that it can be told in 26 episodes. Go out there, enjoy it. It's honestly great. Now it's time for Romance Corner, and let's talk about our main characters, Graham and Vestemona. This couple has a history before this anime even starts, which has Vest chasing after Graham, because Vest doesn't want Graham running down a path that he can't come back from, and she kind of wants him to keep clean, even though they're in their past, they weren't exactly great at that. But once Vestemona has finally caught up to Graham, she realizes she can't really stop him. But Graham asks her to wait for him to finally finish his job, and then they can actually be together. They were actually quite well complimenting each other. I mean, as much as Vestemona tried to put on this act and be all upholding injustice, she kind of has to fall back to her roots. I get it, she was then adopted and brought up in this very rich family, but she can't deny what her upbringing was. And Graham still kind of lives on the streets and takes care of these kids and becomes a pirate to get the money, because working his job just didn't cut it, and he kind of screwed up. So becoming a pirate's life kind of worked out. And I mean, considering there was such a mystery surrounding him, it kind of adds to it. I mean, the native narrative worked really well, but at the end of the day, we're still talking about the romance here. I did like to see Graham and Vestemona as a couple, and I was happy at the end when they did come back together. And it did show that she had waited for him and he didn't forget about her, so I did quite enjoy that. Now it's time for the 3 reasons why you should be watching this anime. Number 1, space pirates. Like the huge theme of this anime, space pirates. Pirates on Mars doing pirate things in mechs. It is really cool. I mean, yeah, you don't have them traveling among the stars and stuff, but seeing them in a different planet, different world, I thought was a breath of fresh air, because they didn't have to do intergalactic battles. It was all taking place on one planet that we don't really get to see, that is different from our own planet. That's why I quite enjoyed it. Number 2, it's a mecha anime, of course, because they're on Mars and they are underwater. They have to use mechs to get around and traverse the terrain and be able to go places and discover things. I think this was really cool because these mechs are underwater mostly. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do some above ground really cool stuff, but they're mostly majority in the sea, and that was again a nice change in pace considering what normally we're used to in mech animes, where they're above ground or flying or going in space. Again, I like the change in pace. Number 3, let's do this, is the adventure. I love going on an adventure, and of course, pirates are all about going on adventures. So it was great to see this cast and crew go up and beyond and take us on some wild, wild adventures. And it was always cool to see what were they up to next, and what did they have, what tricks do they have up their sleeves. It was a really great time, and I really do hope people get a chance to enjoy it, because it's something that people really need to experience, I think. Well, I really did enjoy this series, and it was super important to me to add this one to my collection. So I am happy I found a complete collection of this anime. So, how many of you have actually seen this anime? Like it was said earlier, it's not on any streaming service, so I'm curious how many people saw this when they were younger, or maybe not so much younger, but who have still watching it to this day. I'm kind of curious, so let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this anime review. Thank you guys all for watching, and I hope to see you guys in our next video. So take care now. You know, this space pirate anime was amazing to watch, and I can't wait to find other gems like these and add them to the collection. So what will we find next? Stay tuned and find out. Or if you know of a hidden gem, let us know down in the comments below. We want to hear them.